Hello and welcome to Postcards 54. Um, I discover I haven't done one of these for about 6 months, not since last July. So 54 or not, I'm going to catch up a little bit and show you some cards I've sorted out. These are largely from um, loose ones from my carrier bag. I've got quite a few albums now, some of which haven't really been utilised properly or utilised at all. But nevertheless, these are some of the ones I had loose. Now, this looks like almost a mess. I nearly said an explosion. It is, show you again. There we are. This is St. Richard's Shrine from Chichester Cathedral. And it's a photograph by Tony Hughes. I have to say, and this would not be a criticism of Mr. Hughes, but I can't stand this picture. I think it's absolutely horrible. And having stood before the original, albeit not recently, at least once, I didn't like it a bit. I think it's inappropriate and deserves to go in the nearest skip. But that's no disrespect to the cathedral nor to the saint. The next one is the little card I got when I was on holiday, and like a complete fool, despite the fact that I put a stamp on it and planned to send it to my friend, I never did. So here it is. It's of some ducks, some mallards, and some lilies, it says. It's in the Wildfowl collection, and the Valentine and Son Limited, the printers, Dundee and London. So that would be their outlets, wouldn't it? It's nothing special, I suppose, but it's by Vernon Ward. There we are. I think perhaps it's a watercolour. Yeah, try and hold it still, which is harder than it sounds, and also give you a good chance to enjoy the watery scene. There we are. So there's 3 ducks and some lilies. There you go. Now this is local to me. This is Willows Coffee House. There. It looks quite old, but in point of fact, it isn't. It's nothing of the sort. It's just done in that style. And this is at the bottom, or halfway down to the bottom, if you prefer, Church Street in Basingstoke. And it's a coffee house. They organise quite a lot of get-togethers and activities, none of which I've sampled. I sort of like to, and I see they put up a sign, write it all out in chalks, and I look at it with unseeing eyes. But I have been in there for a cup of coffee, so you see you in there. Now, recently I've been looking through some cards, and I found one of Eric Morecambe, who, along with Ernie Wise, was a famous comedian, latterly on TV. I'm sure he made a very, very great deal of personal appearances, and he was also in various films, some of which, with respect, weren't too successful, although his comedy shows latterly in the 1970s were extremely successful. Here is Eric. This is the memorial statue, and it is a sculpture by Graham Ibbison, and it is actually in the seaside town which Eric called himself after. I think his name was Bartholomew originally, but he changed his name to Morecambe. There we are. Quite a dramatic sunset at the back. You can see his characteristic. That's his part of the dance routine they did. His co-conspirator, Annie Wise, was a trained dancer. Eric, rather less so, I think. Now, here's a bit of fun. Where do you think this is? One thing for certain, it's not Basingstoke, is it? And there's some sheep there at the front. Sheep graze peacefully on the banks of the Teme, T-E-M-E, under Ludlow Castle's northern defences. And this is a photograph by G.B. Thomas, FRPS. Well, Mr. G.B. Thomas, I think it's quite good. The battlements and so forth are quite distant, but I imagine that if I was going to attack the castle, and I wasn't planning on it, I wouldn't want to disturb the sheep. Show you again. Bit of sky, trees, various browns and whites and blues. There we are, Ludlow Castle. Now, this, I can't claim any credit for this, but nevertheless, this is a greetings card, and this is based on a painting done by my late cousin, John Howse. John died about, forgive me, I can't quite remember, about 9 years ago, 8 or 9 years ago. And this is one, his sister writes to me still, Susan Kellum, and she said this is one of his winter landscapes. Happy Christmas, she writes inside, with her lively writing style. There we are, look. And I'll show you once again. There's a bridge, and the river itself, the Dart, and the fields behind it with some trees and a covering of snow, I assume. So it's not necessarily consuming, but it has aspects of white on it, doesn't it? So I would think that it is wintry, and Susan right that it is winter. The River Dart Totnes, which is in northern Devon. Now, remaining cards, don't panic, there's only about 6 to go, are all from my week's holiday in Leicester, which I took at the end of July and in August. This is rather, I suppose in a way it's rather unpleasant, but I just noticed I got it upside down. As you can see, it's a skeleton. This is the replica of King Richard III's skeleton, printed using 3D technology. And it is the Richard III Visitors Centre, as I was saying, in Leicester. I didn't go in other than to look at the cards, so forth. This is a photograph by Will Johnston. I didn't pay the £10 to go in and see the tomb or whatever is there. I assumed that possibly the best value bit was to look at the cards for nothing and buy the ones I liked. So I hope you'll enjoy them too. Here's another from the same holiday. This is the Leicester Guildhall Arts and Museums Service, it says. This isn't, as you can see, it's very aged and has the wooden struts. And some railings here. And Richard III's push bike there. You can't actually see it very well, can you? But there is a bike there, believe me, when I tell you. There. This is much livelier card. The fountains in Leicester. Leicester is a funny mixture of a place, but it does have some lively spots. This is the Town Hall Square, the Lion Fountain in the centre of Leicester's Town Hall Square, it says. And if you go to visitleicester.info, you can get some more information. And also the Visitors Information Centre is there, it says. So there we are. There's the sort of tower. It looks to my unseeing eyes, it looks there we are. Looks sort of continental. They're obviously making it look as exciting as it could be. And let's face it, in this life we probably make our own excitement, don't we? Unfortunately, when I was there, the cathedral was closed. So there it is. There's a tree by it and some flowers. Leicester Cathedral, St Martin's House, Leicester. Again, it's by Will Johnston. I'll just show you the back. Pleasantly uncluttered, lots of space for address and text. Nothing wildly exciting, but it is a record of what, after all, was a week's stay, which I had in the Midlands. And here we are back again with Richard III, who was King of England and was dug up in a car park. I don't think dining out on it ever since. Richard III, King of England, killed at Bosworth Field in this county the 22nd of August 1485, buried in the church of the Grey Friars in this parish. At the top there is a crown, at the bottom there is a shield. He was killed at Bosworth Field, and it ushered in the House of Tudor. He wasn't a Tudor, but that's what followed with Henry VII, Henry VIII, right through to Elizabeth I, by the Spanish Armada. So much bloodshed, I'm afraid. Here we are, the Town Hall again. And another painting done by John Flower. It's a hand-coloured lithograph, which was made in 1826. John Flower died in 1861, so he was quite a young man when he did that. There we are. Nothing. There's some rebel rousers here. I think I just put some cats and dogs in the road, and some passers-by passing by in a walking manner. So there's 3 or 4 or 5 adults, and maybe some little kids who probably got called urchins, which is not particularly kind at all. But there they are. Well, thank you very much. It's been a while since I've done postcards, so it's nice to be back, and I shall have another before long, I'm sure. This has been Postcards 54.